Perfect? Bang on my chest if you think I'm perfect. Go ahead, bang on it.
No heart?
You gotta have heart. Miles and miles of heart.
This is Patchwork Heart Ministries' Young Catholics Respond, brought to you by Breadbox Media. Now, here's your host, Bill Snyder.
Thanks, Adam, and welcome to the program, everybody. I am Bill Snyder. This is Young Catholics Respond, and thank you so much for joining me. We are approaching Pentecost, and I want to remind you that because next week, not this week, but next week is Pentecost, we're always trying to expand and open up our ministry, and would like you to check out patchworkheart.org and do what the early apostles did and tell a friend about Jesus. Tell a friend about our program. We like to be able to spread the gospel and spread the good news through the radio. We only can do that with your help. So when you listen to our program, please share it with a friend and imitate the apostles at Pentecost by spreading the gospel and spreading our radio program. On today's program, I am blessed to be joined by my friend Nancy Martin. And Nancy is a wife and mother of 5 and has a passion for the Catholic faith. She has developed and led many varied ministerial efforts and has taught classes on the consecration to Our Lady via the St. Louis de Montfort Charism, both online and in the classroom. She holds a master's degree in theology, summa cum laude, with concentrations in dogmatics, morality, bioethics from Holy Apostles Seminary and College in Cromwell, Connecticut. She has earned certifications in lay ministry, advanced biblical studies, bioethics, and online teaching. She has also published articles in Social Justice Review. In addition to that, she's classically trained, degreed and certified bioethicist and theologian, and she has just authored a brand new book called Servant of God, Gwen Coniker God Leads, Faith and Trust Follow. So Nancy, welcome to the program. I appreciate you coming on and talking with me and our listeners today.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Absolutely.
So Nancy, I want to talk with you a little bit about this book. Our listeners may remember a few weeks ago when we had Teresa Schmitz on, who was talking about the apostolate for family consecration, and Gwen Coniker was one of the key players. Her and her husband were one of the key players in that. But she is a servant of God now, and which is a step on the way to sainthood, right? So talk with us a little bit about how this book came to be. It's got a great title too.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I had met Jerry when I was at a St. Maxime Jacobi shrine called Marytown in Libertyville, Illinois, one day. I had known who he was because I had gone to Catholic Family Land in Ohio with my children when they were younger. So I was aware of who he was. He did not know me, but I decided to go up and approach him and thank him for the wonderful work that he and his wife had done throughout the years. And quip, I simply said, if you need anything, let me know. And well, he took me up on it, on my offer, and had me shortly thereafter doing various writing projects for him, like editing a St. Joseph children's book and writing letters to the Vatican on various matters and so forth. And one day he asked if I would write a book about Gwen, his wife. And I was rather stumped, taken aback that he would ask me to write this. And I did tell him that although I've done writing in the past, I've never actually written and published a book. So this is my debut book. And I said, you might want to consider somebody more qualified. And he said, nope, you're perfect. And so that's how the book came to be. And from there, we worked together for a few years. He pointed me in direction of his various people that knew Gwen. So I set out to interview people and research. And then, of course, he provided all kinds of documentation of the apostolate throughout the years and letters from the Roman Curia and various Curia members that were very involved with the apostolate, and his relationship with Mother Teresa and Pope John Paul II. And so Jerry unfortunately passed away last July 4th, 2018. And but it was interesting because in September of 2017, we had just finished up our last work effort on the book that that I would need him for in terms of information and edits. We were finalizing the edits, and the very next day he had a severe stroke. And so from that point on, he wasn't really able to talk much. It was almost like his lips were sealed. And so it was quite a timing and momentous event that God's timing is perfect. And from that point on, I was able to take it from there. And then, of course, he went into in-home hospice and one of his daughter's homes and passed away July 4th. So I'm really excited about this. This was Jerry's project to publish this book on behalf of his wife. He hopes it was a twofold goal of his. One, that it would push along her cause for sainthood. And secondly, he really believed that the propagation of this book would convert souls and lead them to God, especially in a time where Gwen exemplified what it was to be a wife and a mother in a time where both of those areas are attacked, and families attacked, marriage is attacked, and divorce is highly prevalent on top of it. So he really feels that she's a saint for our time.
Yeah,
so that's kind of how it unfolded.
Absolutely. What a beautiful testimony that Jerry really wanted to give a great gift to the world to show just how incredible his wife was, and really they're an amazing power couple to that have really shaped American theology, American thought, family theology, and helped draw families together. And so you want to talk just a little bit about the vision of Gwen. You mentioned that that the art of being a woman and being a mother in today's society is under attack. That vocation is under attack. What made her so special in being able to highlight how beautiful that vocation truly is?
Well, it's really interesting because when we talk about marriage, we talk about the two becoming one flesh, which mirrors the Trinity. And the Father pours out his love to the Son pours out his love to the Father, this reciprocal back and forth of love, which then begets the Holy Spirit that flows from that, of their love. And so similarly in marriage, their love coming together springs forth life, both physically and spiritually. And so they were so one that although the book is on Gwen, it's on both of them, because you cannot talk about one without the other. But with an emphasis, of course, on Gwen. She was tested in those areas of wife, mother, life, family. Her marriage was tested. She, due to tough decisions that Jerry made on behalf of the greater good of souls, she had to face being separated from her family and staying married to him, or divorcing him, which she was encouraged to do by others. Her life was threatened with one of her pregnancies. She was highly encouraged to abort one of her children in order to save her life. So her marriage was tested, her life was tested in terms of the life she was carrying in the womb, and her faith was tested. So God really, put her through the ringer, and I talk about these things in the book and how she dealt with these various moral dilemmas that entered her life, and that's why she's such a great role model in a time of society where people divorce people willy-nilly for no real reason at all. They're bored with them, that somebody better comes along, and where life is attacked, abortion is rampant, and marriage is redefined. So she's a great example that touches upon all those. And family. She put her family first. She really was cognizant of her daily duty as wife and mother first, even though they founded this apostolate together. Gwen made sure that she adhered to her family duty, and which is tempting to get caught up in an apostolate because it's exhilarating and more fun to do than dishes and laundry and the humdrum of daily life. But Gwen didn't allow herself. She was the background in the quiet of the background while Jerry did the heavy lifting of the apostolate. She was doing the heavy lifting, holding down the fort so he could do that. And then as the children got older and more independent, then naturally Gwen's time freed up more so she could become more involved with the apostolate at the appropriate time that came about. So that's something that the church will look at is, how she adhered to her daily duty. And, whether she really followed God's will, because even though they were doing wonderful things, and that's all great, if God's will is that you first and foremost be a wife and mother, and how well did you do that? And did you, were you negligent in those duties? So that's why I think she's such a great testament for all those reasons for this time in history right now.
Yeah, you mentioned a very interesting point there, that's what the church, requires when they look at this path to sainthood, right? And that's the reason why I think there are so few married people that have become saints, because the examination of holding it all together inside of a household, and it can be stressful and difficult, right? So certainly you can be a person of great faith, but boy, is it hard to get that canonization. But if there's one person that could do it, it would be Gwen Coniker. We're talking with Nancy Martin. She is a trained and classically trained degreed bioethicist and theologian. She's got a brand new book out called Servant of God, Gwen Coniker God Leads, Faith and Trust Follow. Nancy, we have to take a short break here. Believe it or not, when we come back, we are going to continue our conversation with you right after these messages here. Thanks so much for being here, and all of you, thanks for staying tuned. Right back after these messages here on Young Catholics Respond. I'm Bill Snyder.
Patchwork Heart Ministry is committed to sowing hope into broken hearts by helping young people encounter the love of Jesus Christ and His Catholic Church through prayer, storytelling, and media initiatives. We invite you to prayerfully consider supporting this mission financially. Mail your tax-deductible donation to Patchwork Heart Ministry at P.O. Box 563, Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, zip code 53147. Or visit patchworkheart.org to donate online. That's Patchwork Heart Ministry, P.O. Box 563, Lake Geneva, Wisconsin 53147, or online at patchworkheart.org.
Hi everybody, Bill Snyder here. Just want to thank you for listening to this episode of Young Catholics Respond. And as a founder of Patchwork Heart Ministry, we have so much more going on than just our podcasts. Check it out at patchworkheart.org.
The words spoken by Our Lady of Guadalupe to Juan Diego nearly 500 years ago are almost too good to be true. Asking that a temple be built at the site of her apparition, she promised that here I will give all my love, my compassion, my help, and my protection to all those who love me, cry to me, seek me, and who have confidence in me. Here I will listen to their weepings and alleviate all their sufferings, necessities, and misfortunes. My name is Alan Napleton, and I live in Dallas, Texas. I have visited her shrine in Mexico City dozens of times, bringing my own petitions, and have found Our Lady to be true to her word. Over the years, I have brought hundreds of pilgrims to this holy place without incidents, and have now founded Viva Guadalupe, a nonprofit that provides safe and inexpensive pilgrimages to Our Lady's shrine. If you would like to take our Blessed Mother up on her promise and learn more about how you can visit this special place of grace, please visit vivaguadalupe.org for more information.
Judy Hare was a bankrupt, homeless, drug-addicted college dropout on the brink of divorce, but is now a seminary graduate and devoted wife and mother of 4 children. What happened? Find out in her autobiography, Shattered: How God Restored My Heart and Life. Her journey of faith has been called brutally honest, truly inspiring, profound, heartbreaking, and life-changing. Shattered is available now for only $15 on her website, judyhare.com, on Amazon.com, or at your local Catholic bookstore. As Judy says, it is never too late to become the person you deserve and desire to be. So stop wishing for change and start doing something about it by reserving your copy of Shattered today.
Saint Therese of Lisieux's Little Way of the Cross, written by Victoria Clarizo and designed by Just Love Prince, is a beautiful prayer booklet that helps you pray the Stations of the Cross. Use these reflections to meditate on the great love and mercy that Jesus had for us as he journeyed to Calvary. The Little Way of the Cross includes gems from Scripture, the writings of Saint Therese, and the words of Jesus from the imagination and prayer of the author. Go to justloveprince.com to get your copy today.
Your heart is always beating, but you never have to think about it.
Welcome back to Young Catholics Respond. Once again, Bill Snyder.
Welcome back to this episode of Young Catholics Respond, everybody. I'm Bill Snyder. Today my guest is Nancy Martin, and she's a classically trained, degreed, certified bioethicist and theologian. She has a brand new book called Servant of God, Gwen Coniker God Leads, Faith and Trust Follow. And what a great title for today's society and world. You know, right before the break, Nancy, we were talking about the ways in which, Gwen kind of overcame some of her personal, struggles and issues, and also the apostolate, the apostle for family consecration, and everything they stood for, the traditional marriage, against abortion, and also to teach and catechize other families in the truth. But they, as we were talking about in between the break here, they were not exempt from their own family struggles either, right? Gwen had to lead a family through many different troubles and issues, rebellious teenagers and whatnot. Do you want to just highlight for us a little bit about what that process was like in leading her family, and then also leading the charge to catechize other families while that's going on? I can't imagine what that was like.
Yeah, well, keep in mind, they had 12 children. So that in and of itself is a huge undertaking, to try to raise 12 children in the faith and keep them all in line and leading them to Christ and their eternal home. So they experienced, some of their children in the teenage years. In the 70s, 80s, the drugs were prevalent. Rebellion was prevalent. They were teaching sex ed in the schools without morals, and Jerry was a huge fighter against that. He was concerned about what his children were learning. They had to bounce kids from various schools at various points due to either what they were teaching or because, the kids were taunting the Coniker children. What is it that your dad really does? And oh, the holy rollers, and, they were mocked and, all kinds of things. And that they had to struggle with. They also struggled with the financial dance, never really knowing where the next dollar was going to come. There was having an apostolate. They had bills that needed to be paid, and kind of like Mother Angelica's EWTN, it would come down to the wire whether they could pay those bills. So it, it was huge. It was, trying to run an apostolate, raising 12 children in a time where children are going in all different directions, and the church really has not taken up passing on the faith to the kids. Even today, it's somewhat weak, and with the faith being passed on. I often call myself an uncatechized survivor. I went to Catholic schools, preschool, grade school, high school, college, grad school, and didn't even know what the real presence was upon graduation. It was really bad. And so I went and sought the faith on my own, realizing at some point that I didn't even know the faith. And so the whole apostolate was so that other people wouldn't miss out either, and would come to know the truth, and the truth will set them free. Ironically, in a time where we live in a period where there is no truth, where one's truth is anybody's truth, and you just make it up as you go, or you don't have truth at all. So both their lives and their apostolate really are so important for our times right now.
Yeah.
Even more so than it was when they founded it in the 70s.
Exactly. And, this whole mission, Gwen's life and Jerry's life and the apostolate for family consecration, their whole mission was really to catechize the uncatechized, but also do it through means of love and charity and just being, right? I mean, that's one of the big things about Catholic Family Land, is that it is a sanctuary for families to just come and live the way the Holy Spirit intended for families to live. And that dedication to that mission and that message is so important, as you mentioned, because the catechesis could happen in an environment where it was conducive to learning, and they could experience and live that truth of the faith. Whereas, it's a little harder when we're not in that environment to be able to live that truth, and it's so hard even in today's society. So with that being said, when you talk about who they were able to tap into and use, and all the different resources that they had at their disposal because of their apostolate, Mother Teresa, Father John Hardon, what is that like, being able to kind of experience that as you're writing this book, and as you're realizing how great of people they were just by who they were able to associate with?
Yeah, they produced over 1,500 programs with the top 500 theologians, philosophers, educators, and teachers of our day. And it really is that inventory alone is invaluable, and of what they were able to produce with those individuals, and the learnings from that, and the resources of that could be passed on to future generations. It's a wealth. It's a treasure trove of Catholic teachings and knowledge, and to be able to teach other people in a time where it's hard to find that. So that's one thing. And Catholic Family Land itself, the Apostle for Family Contemplation is also known as Catholic Family Land, is a place. They have what they call Family Fests in the summertime, about 5 of them. They're week-long fests where families can come together from all over the country and for a week and play games, play ball games, pray, be catechized. There's daily mass. They have a program specifically for teenagers. They have a program specifically for middle schoolers and then for young people, and where they will catechize them, and then these families can dine together as well and meet other like-minded families and have fun in the process. There's a swimming pool, there's a water slide, there's horseback riding, there's bonfires. So it's more than just, some boring, we're going to go to church every day. Yes, there is Mass every day, and it's a beautiful Mass with many priests can celebrate in. But they have the sacraments, and they have confession throughout the day, and they have adoration. But they also have fun too, and it's a wonderful place to go. I highly recommend people taking their family there. It's in the summertime. You can go to the AFC.org, I believe it is. You can Google the Apostle for Family Consecration in Bloomingdale, Ohio, to find out more information on the Family Fest. And they have retreats there throughout the year as well, like Totus Tues retreats, marriage encounter retreats, and other events that they hold outside of the Family Fest throughout the year.
Yeah, no, Nancy, it's amazing, and I encourage our listeners here to not only get your book, but also visit afc.org to check out the book. Again is Servant of God, Gwen Coniker, God Leads, Faith and Trust Follow. And just talk to us a little bit about, in the closing few minutes that we have, about where they can get it, how they can support you, and all that you're doing as well.
So the book will be out mid-June, and it could be obtained through Amazon, BarnesandNobles.com, or directly through the publisher, enroutebooksandmedia.com, enroutebooksandmedia.com. And if you go to their website and then just type in Servant of God, you'll be able to find the book. So mid-June it'll come out, and there'll be a Kindle version, an electronic version, and a paperback version. And then there'll be opportunities if somebody wants to buy them in bulk. So I'm really excited about it being disseminated, and I really hope that this will be a vehicle to change hearts and minds and souls to be more conformed to God's will, and so that people can reach their heavenly home after this life here on earth.
I know that'll be true, Nancy, just from our conversation and your passion and your dedication to highlighting this beautiful woman of faith and this beautiful apostolate and ministry. So thank you so much for being here today on Young Catholics Respond. I really appreciate it, and we'll definitely have you back on again.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate it. God bless you. Thank you so much.
All right, well, this has been an episode of Young Catholics Respond. Until next time, from all of us here at Young Catholics Respond and Patchwork Heart Ministry, I'm Bill Snyder. Keep beating to your Catholic heart.
You've been listening to Young Catholics Respond, a radio initiative of Patchwork Heart Ministry. To learn more about our ministry and program, visit us at patchworkheart.org. Or to get exclusive access and early ministry updates, become our patron on Patreon by searching for Patchwork Heart Ministry.